What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we are going to be going over the best defensive settings that you guys can run in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM. Now, these settings are settings that I personally have ran. It's what has led me to get super quick, super easy wins in Showdown. Right now, I'm 28 wins in. I've lost one game, but the game I lost was like to Pink Diamond LeBron, all the best cards in the game. Still shouldn't have lost, but I did. But these defensive settings, I think, have been really good, and I will be breaking them all down for you guys today. Now, as we dive into it a little bit further, if you're new to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button. We're on the road to 130,000 subscribers, and I really do appreciate all of the recent support. Now, these settings are primarily for my team, but they're going to work for play now too. So these are just the best overall defensive settings for the game. Obviously, I'm in my team showing you guys exactly what those settings are one by one. And the nice part about it is you can set them before the game starts in my team. Just go in here to your coaching, go to coach game plan here, and you will be able to set all of your defensive settings. Now, this is what I've had success with, and we're going to be breaking them all down. Starting with on-ball pressure. Now, what on-ball pressure is, it's how tight you are going to guard your opposing player. Now, whether you play off-ball or on-ball, it's important. Now, obviously, off-ball, you're either going to, be moderate, which, again, prevents blow-bys. Smother, which, again, you're going to get up in their grill. Tight, kind of that in-between, or gap, you're leaving them open. Now, what I would do is adjust this from player to player. So, although you can preset your settings, adjust this in-game. For example, if I play against, like, an Amy, Giannis, or Diamond Wilt, I'm going to want to put this on gap. Versus people who are decent shooters, definitely on moderate. And everybody, I'm mainly on moderate. Now, if I play against Vince Carter, T-Mac, anybody with a quick release that's a really good shooter, maybe even Jason Tatum, you might want to do tight for that. Like moderate, you guys can see the negatives, can be exposed by very good shooters. I do just think moderate's overall the best setting. So again, if I'm playing up against a lineup like my own, I'll put Chauncey probably on moderate, Vince on tight, probably James Posey moderate, Cliff Robinson probably moderate, maybe even gap, AD moderate, maybe even gap. Against my bench, I would gap Larry Nance, probably go moderate, tight, moderate is probably where I'd go on my against my bench unit as well. But those are my defense settings. Off-ball pressure, it's kind of the same thing. I think moderate is probably the best thing to run. But against guys like Vince Carter, against guys like Tracy McGrady, you might want to move this too tight. It all really depends on who you're playing against. Do they run a lot of backdoors? Do they like to shoot tough contested shots? If you're playing against an opponent that never backdoors you, I do think tight is probably your best method. But I do think moderate overall is the most balanced pressure. So for me, I go moderate. And again, it is something that I personally have had a lot of success with. As far as force direction, I leave this on auto. I know some people who like to force baseline, but again, I'm just not the biggest fan on it. I do think automatic is going to be your best. Play them straight up, see what happens. Now, as far as on-ball screens, I personally right now go under everybody. I don't think there's anybody in the game with a quick enough release that I'm super worried about. Now, again, there's some guys who manually will have to get over screens. So against like a Vince Carter or Trace McGrady, I sometimes on-ball the screen or switch and step up with the guy setting the screen. But I'm primarily on go under. Right now, my main focus, if you can't tell with my defensive settings, is to protect the rim. I'm confident in my own ability to get through screens to defend the perimeter and contest shots. So for both the on-ball screen with the normal person and the center, I'm going under. Why? Because if I do X switch, then they're already under the screen, able to guard against their roll as well. As far as the hedge, catch hedge is your best hedge method. Again, if you want to go over the screen, you can. If you're giving up a lot of threes, do think go under is the best. Now, what catch hedge does, it, in my opinion, it's kind of the in-between stage, right? They step up a little, but they drop on the roll enough, and it just to me is a really good setting. What it is the hedging player will drop and contain the drive along with preventing the screener from getting behind him. So again, if you don't X switch, you're going to kind of drop, prevent the drive, and prevent the roll. I think that is the best method in my opinion. Again, I X switched quite a bit, and that is why stay attached is on. So with stay attached, the defender will stay attached to their matchups in all hedge and help defense situations. I like this personally because I X switch so much so often. With the X switching, stay attached is perfect. Again, I would turn this on always if you do like X switching. I have a how to X switch video on my channel as well. If you're like, Ty, what is X switching? Basically, lets you be in control of when you want to switch, when you don't want to switch. But stay attached being on always basically is always going to guarantee your X switch is going to work. Because there was years that it would be like, sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't work. It would put me in a tough position because I'm like, I don't know when it's going to work, and just kind of be pretty rough. But I would, if you do like X switching, turn this to always. If you're kind of unsure, you could try automatic, but I do think always is the best situation. Now we get into the meat and potatoes of why off-ball defense or active off-ball defense is so valuable, and it's this right here. Screen out, no help. Drive out, no help. Cutter out, no help. You do not need to help unless you personally want to help and rotate. Now, again, this is so important with the X switch mechanic in the game. If you want your CPU to control all help situations, you can turn this to auto or help and no rotation, whatever you want to do. What I will say is this, though, and this is my personal opinion on this. If you do that, you're going to give up a lot of threes. And I hate giving up threes. That's my main goal. And you guys might be like, really, Ty? On moderate, you don't like giving up threes? I hate giving up threes. It's why I prevent the drive. And if somebody does get past me, I'm on no help. I'd rather give up the two or make my manual rotation. Now, with these defensive settings, you're going to have to lab them, guys. It might be a super big adjustment for you guys to be on moderate, to not have the CPU help for you. But for example, if somebody from the top of the key gets in the lane, you might want to pinch from the wing, hold the X button, then you're going to take the defender on ball, and then you're going to rotate to the guy that got beat to the wing. Again, slow that, rewind what I just said down if you're not understanding what I'm saying, but these settings are the key to success right now in the game. Now, as more good cards with better releases come out, you might have to run tight. You might have to run smothered tight. That's been my settings for quite some time, and you might eventually have to go over screens. But my catch edge, stay attached, and no help will always stay the same. These are settings that no matter where I'm at in the year will not change. I promise you, the entire year, I will be on no help. The entire year, I will be on stay attached. And the entire year, I will be on catch edge. The only things that are subject to change are the go over, go under. And again, these can change from matchup to matchup, my on-ball pressure, off-ball pressure. So for example, when I do get into a game and I come up against, again, my type of team, I'm probably going to maybe put tight on Vince Carter. I'm probably maybe going to put tight on Devin Booker and Jason Tatum. The rest of these guys, I'm going to gap Larry Nance. I might gap Cliff Robinson and turn the leave him off-ball pressure. I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So defensive pressure, you could go to leave them. Again, giving them a lot of space. Same thing with Anthony Davis. You want to force mediocre shooters with decently slow releases to beat you, in my opinion, right now in the game. And that is what my defensive settings allow you guys to do. Hopefully, you guys understand the settings I run. It's kind of difficult to tell you guys, again, if you're new to the game or not, super knowledgeable about what X switching is, I would highly recommend going and watching my how to X switch video. I did, I think, post it last year, but it is still how it works now. Once you master X switching, once you master your icons, defense is going to come naturally. My biggest piece of recommendation to you guys is this. Yes, these settings can be helpful, but learn your icons. You should have your icons down to a science. For example, when you're trying to switch to James Posey, R1 square, boom. It shouldn't be a thought process. It should just come naturally to you. Once you get those down, your rotations are going to be crisp. Your X switching is going to be crisp. Your defense is going to be crisp. Yes, defensive settings do matter, but in the whole grand scheme of defense, they are not the most important thing to master or to get down. Later this year, I probably will have a how to play defense video to hopefully help you guys on what rotations I make, on how to pinch and recover, how to guard a 5 out, how to guard a pick and roll, all of those types of things. But again, if you really want kind of how I personally play defense, my biggest piece of recommendation is watch my gameplay. I stream every day on Twitch. Most of those VODs will be up as well for you guys to go back and watch. And again, just watch how I move defensively. It's, yes, partly defensive settings, but I would say more so how to X switch, knowing my icons, all of those types of things. These settings will work in domination as well. But again, make sure if you do play a guy that can really shoot in domination, you do maybe change this to tight on ball, stuff like that. Because again, you want to make sure you're getting a good contest on the CPU. That's going to wrap it up for my video today. Hopefully you guys found it very useful and informational to you guys. I would preset these, and then again, when you do get into a game, make sure you are gapping a guy like Wilt Chamberlain. Make sure you are putting tight on a guy maybe like Vince Carter. Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.